Hello everyone, welcome back. This episode of Bitcoin Trade, gonna go over something that every person who deals in Bitcoin should know. Um, Basically, how do you send your Bitcoins? Well, a couple ways you can do that. You know, you, you need somebody's address key. That's where you need to send it, and then of course, your password and your wallet. So this blockchain offers a wallet for free. Most um, sites have free wallets. Okay, and this is an address here. So there you go. If you can see that. Sorry for all the numbers and everything. But there you go. There's the address here, and this is an address that I created through one of my wallets. And you could have many wallets, and within those wallets you could have many address keys. So this is a new one I generated, and when you ask somebody for their address key, and they give it to you, you should look it up. If it's new, the person just made a new address key, or this is a new wallet, one or the other. So if a person all of a sudden, talks like they've been trading for years and years, and you ask for their address key and it's nothing here, um, and you ask them if is this a new wallet, and they say no, it's not a new wallet, but it's a new address key. I guess there's nothing wrong with it. It is a matter of privacy. So I do it all the time too. It's not a big deal. Another way is you can use this QR code. QR stands for something, and I first heard of this when I was sitting in I guess a lecture or business conference with Xerox at the time, talking about how important this QR code is going to be in the future. And I kind of dismissed it at the time, but I see this everywhere. Apparently, you can do a lot of amazing things with this. So, anyways, in this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use your address keys as well as your wallets. Because my last episode, if you saw it, it was about money laundering. And I'm going to try to show you why a lot of people are really fearful of Bitcoin, because of how hard it is to follow the money, I guess, or follow the Bitcoin. So here's a little challenge for all you viewers. Okay, I'll eventually put a picture of this up here, and then viewers. Okay, I'll eventually put a picture of this up here, and then here I'm gonna zoom in here. If you guys can freeze this or put this on pause and just type this down. But sorry if this is taking so long. But anyways, maybe I'll even put the code up here on the description. And so what I'm about to ask you is something, I guess, whether you want to do or not. You know that you can send fractional bitcoins, like it's pennies, right? You just have to cover the cost of sending it through the network, okay? But send whatever you want. Don't send a big amount. But what I'm going to do is this is just a wallet here, and basically what I'm going to do here, this is a new one, and go ahead and send it in, and then you look up the address key. Okay, you can look up the address key and you can follow it. All right, and I think I got some examples here of uh, of of one here. And let me just try to open it real quick and see if I can find it here. Okay, so this is an example of one here. Let me open this one up. Okay, so here's another one, right? And now you wouldn't know if it's mine or somebody else's, but I'm just showing you an example where you try to follow the Bitcoin. Okay, so there's two transactions for this much Bitcoin, and this is the address key right there. Okay, so there's the address key. That's this address key, and then it's going out to this, right? And then so what you got here on the bottom is all these address keys somehow equals to, they all went into this one, sorry, into this one. Let me see here if I can, maybe it just needs to, okay. Okay, so it went into that address key, which is, of course, let me scroll up now, which is this address key, I believe. So that address key is this address key. Okay, so it is this. So that's why it's not, highlighted blue. Okay, so basically look at all these address keys that came in to pay this amount. Okay, and then basically this address key then, which sent it to this address key. Alright, and I don't really get that, but there it is. Okay, so here we go, and let's see if anybody can. So I'm going to click on this. Let's see where it takes me now. Okay, there's the address key right there, and then there's two transactions, and then there's the total received and zero balance. And so look at this, it's just going to keep going and going and going. Look at, you see what I'm talking about? Look, it just keeps going and going. You're like, okay, so it got sent out to two addresses on this side now. Let's follow the one that says 15 bitcoins. All right, let's follow the big bitcoins now. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Okay, then it goes to that address, right? And then again two transactions, but zero balance. And wow, what the heck is going on? Okay, so this was left at 15. 15 came in here, then something came out. So I mean, you can just follow this all day long. Eventually what you're really just seeing is 15 came in, 15 came out. I mean, so anyways, here it is right in front of you, but where is it? What happened to that 0.55 Bitcoin? Where'd it go? So this is what's really driving a lot of the governments crazy. Okay, so let me pan down here and get back to the original. Okay, so basically the concept is I took a penny, right? A nice shiny penny. Then I dropped it into a bucket full of other nice shiny pennies, and then I dumped it on the floor and I said, well, there's the penny right there. Don't you see it? Well, it's kind of hard to, because all the pennies look the same, right? And then on top of that, it got moved around so much we forgot. You don't know which penny was the one that I dropped in there. So that's kind of like, the fear of, they don't know where the money went, but it's not really money, it's Bitcoin. So in my opinion, it doesn't really matter where it went in Bitcoin, it's where it comes out of as money. All right, so people who are trying to launder money, I know this looks really cool and you can move the Bitcoins around, you can't see them, but Bitcoins aren't really any good to you. Not now, anyway, because eventually you guys want money. So the only time this would be a good way to launder money if everything was in Bitcoin. So, that's never going to happen. Okay, the best you can do if you do launder money through Bitcoin is basically buy a lot of stuff at Overstock.com right now and a lot of gift cards. It's kind of hard to do that when you got millions and millions of dollars of laundered Bitcoins. Um, you know, that's a lot of gift cards to buy, and there's only so much you could buy at Overstock. I mean, even if you lived in a like huge mansion, literally there would only be you wouldn't hit $1 million of stuff that you fill a mansion from Overstock.com. All right, so this money laundering on this site, it's ridiculous. It looks cool, but remember, it's still Bitcoins. You could do this all day; it doesn't matter. But when it comes out as money, that's the hard part. And so there's a lot of I have to admit, there's a lot of people out there who like to deal in cash and cash only, like hard cash. So it seems like it's getting harder and harder to cash out. Um, so, but if anybody wants to try, I'll put a picture of this if you have a smartphone, and you can try it out. Whatever comes in here, I will. Well, the first person who ever does it, whatever. So I'll send something here to me, whatever small amount. Okay, just small amount. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it somewhere else, right? And let's see if anybody can follow it, or if it makes any sense. Because it probably won't, just like I was showing you before on that previous website. So that's something I just want to continue on from the last episode on the money laundering part. And this is probably why a lot of governments are afraid of what's going to happen to Bitcoin. But at the same time, Bitcoin will, in my opinion, not be. Bitcoin needs money to survive. Without the money, Bitcoin wouldn't be Bitcoin. All right, it would just be a video game. So, anyways, that's kind of what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how we do this in Bitcoin. What matters is how we try to get Bitcoin into money, into whatever fiat currency. So, and I think laundering at that point is not going to help you guys. So here's another thing. Let me see what I was going to talk about. Okay, so that was just to pick off from last episode. The other thing I'd like to talk about is global markets. So I had an order today, and it was a buy order. So I bought something, or I bought some Bitcoins through local bitcoins.com, and basically went to the bank, made a cash deposit to another customer at the same bank, and the teller, I'm not sure if she knows what I'm doing or not, but she kind of wondered what I was doing, because I often go in there and literally deposit money into someone else's account. And I explained that I used to trade in recycling. If you see my previous episodes, I mentioned that. And I used to trade physical commodity. And I was trying to explain to her that it takes money and energy to do that. And I'm trading whatever commodity for, US dollars. And so she asked me if it was risky trading. I didn't tell her I was trading Bitcoin, but she asked me if whatever I was doing, was it risky? And I mentioned to her basically that it's no more risky than what I was doing before in the recycling business. Matter of fact, sometimes I think that the recycling business was even more riskier. Um, so, especially in the plastic recycling business, very shady business. Very more shady than Bitcoin. Okay, so I have a story where I think somebody in the recycling business, I think he was, or she, I'm not sure, but they mostly dealt with plastics, and then they got an offer to got an offer for steel, right? And for $1 million, they would ship steel in a container, and you know, I guess it was a good deal because somebody took that offer, and um, there's certain things that you can do, to make sure that money, you don't just send the money blindly and just, stuff like that. But for whatever reason, the money was released, and when they opened the container, it was nothing but painted bricks. All right, painted bricks. So um, this kind of scams, they go on with everything and everywhere in U.S. dollars. So scams in Bitcoin is nothing new. So, anyways, so I tried to explain to her this is I buy and sell this at you know at a very quick rate. I get an order, I complete the order, just like that. It's done. And then at the same time, instantaneously as I'm buying, I'm also selling. So this act of buying and selling, buying low and selling high, not only applies to trading. Let me see here. Excuse me one moment here. Let me see. Okay. So this act of buying and selling, buying low and selling high, doesn't always apply to these exchanges. Okay, you can bring this out in the real world. All right, with real money, and it kind of helps if you have a bank account, just like I was telling you to, use the banking system, because there as I know people complain about it, and I've read some articles where that they're trying to make Bitcoin a form of payment process, not an actual currency. They're trying to make it so that you can try to make US dollars pay out using Bitcoin as a method. So you take US dollars, turns it into Bitcoin, comes out the other end, or goes to the other end as a Bitcoin, then gets cashed out as US dollars. So I think that's pretty lame. Just because, and I'll get to my other part here where I'm talking about credit versus debt. But I'll get to that part when I get there. So my point is, I was explaining to her that the teller at the bank, in the real world, right, physical world, transporting costs money and energy. It takes energy to do that. With the Bitcoin, you can transport this anywhere around the world. And I was telling her, I can do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, around the world. And all we're doing is pinging each other. They send me something, I send them back. And I am literally just making an offer, and somebody is literally just taking it somewhere around the world, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So I'm basically buying something at a low price that I want, and it's usually based off on one of these indexes, If you're on local bitcoins.com, you can use a formula. So buy low, and then when I sell at a higher price. And the interesting thing is that because this is Bitcoin, this is electronic, you can do this instantaneously. At the same time, you are either buying or selling something. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is you can get an order at a buy price that you want. And as soon as that order is complete, that Bitcoin's yours, you can automatically sell it. Or if you're smart, you actually have some Bitcoins and money somewhere, where you can work with that. So basically, by the time you pretty much see it in the blockchain, it takes a while. If you already have whatever amount of Bitcoins, you can actually sell it right away at a higher price, at pretty much instantaneously at the same time, and you've already made your money. You already made your profits on just transacting alone. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. And so you can do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so you don't have to be you got the whole world in front of you. That's something that you really couldn't do with regular exchanges or other financial instruments or even any currency. So that's what I kind of explained that, and I think maybe she got some idea because could you imagine being open to the global market 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and all you're doing is you're putting an offer out there, and people are taking it or not taking it. They're either buying into it or selling out of it. So just the fact that you can instantaneously make another transaction by the time you buy or sell to another market at a higher price is the big difference in Bitcoin. So this leads to my other subject about credit versus debt. So I'm reading a lot of articles where you got the banks who offer the U.S. dollar, and remember my previous episode I tried to explain that the fiat currency, the U.S. dollar, which I live in America, is an instrument of debt. And so I want to make that clear. Is people who are used to this particular system where you're collecting debt, it's hard for them to understand this because Bitcoin is an instrument of credit. And so debt and credit work very differently from each other. They're very different. Person who has credit has already, for the most part, prepaid, and they've bought in, prepaid into something, and at any time after that, whether the price goes up or the price goes down, most likely it'll go up, because if there's a limited amount of this form of credit, it becomes more valuable. So at any point in time in the future, I'm expected to release this credit to somebody in a form of a debt. So this is exactly what the banks do. But I'm actually doing it through the financial system. So when I release or give credit back to be transformed back into debt, I'm basically giving back the money. But this time it's a lot of money because all the money that was put into Bitcoin by that time. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, so when I hear all these reports about how they could use Bitcoin as a method of payment, so to move US dollars around. So basically you got US dollar on one side, using Bitcoin as the delivery, okay? It's a good idea, because that's the whole point why I got into it, because the method of delivery is so quick and fast and very efficient. Um, some people complain about 15 minutes, but it's not that bad. I mean, once you see it on blockchain, it's pretty much yours. You don't have to worry about it. You can't probably move it or sell it yet until it shows up um, as yours. But I understand why they can get excited, and then they're talking about how they can change the protocol to be an instrument of some kind of tracking, again, for an instrument of debt. But they're missing the whole point, in my opinion, is Bitcoin is a form of credit. You're prepaying into something with the expectation that later on you can redeem these credits, right, to whatever, maybe in the future. And again, you're taking a chance, because maybe this is all just nothing, and we're all the joke. Okay, so the whole idea is you got a credit, and then sometime in the future you can redeem this credit, right? And by then it'll be worth a lot more, because I told you how Bitcoin will go to infinity, because they'll just keep printing money, and then they'll stop. I'm hoping in the future they'll realize this is ridiculous. They'll stop, and again, people who hold Bitcoin will be the creditors of debt. So the people who want to be in debt, well, we'll just redeem our credit to them in exchange for debt. So, like I said, just like the bank works. Anyways, so that's what I want to talk about, because I've been reading, I like to keep up on it, because the news will affect the way the price action will move, okay? And then, yeah, that's about it for this episode. Hopefully this wasn't too long. Maybe I should go into this chart here. So if you see my episodes earlier, how I basically talked about this chart. I did make another line, because it did make another high, but if you back up enough, you'll see that it's pretty much the same line. So right now it has dipped. It has dipped, and it's kind of going back up, but it's really losing a lot of strength. It really has to break through up that line, and unfortunately now time has passed where this top resistance is pretty much right there. That top resistance right there is pretty much at this point of resistance, even a little bit below it, if you see that. So I'm talking about from this line to this line. And so it now it really has to double time up here, break through that, and then finish higher. And only then, I mean, it's not over yet. It still has to break above that high. So it has to go this much higher. So that's how much higher it has to go from, 1100, right? And where is it? 950. So it's got $100 to go. All right, to continue on the uptrend. If it doesn't, and you'll see this is supporting line. So it's really getting squeezed. It's gotta break down or break up. And I'll show you nothing you can do with Bitcoin Wisdom. All right, is you can actually move and slide this, so you can kind of get an idea where and when it might break up. So now you got something to kind of help you. All right, so if it's skirting here, I mean, it's not getting much room to hit this supporting line. So it's got to do something really here. This is a 4 hour. So let me see. Let me see here. Oh, that's 1 day. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in pretty much in a maybe 7 days, a 7 day time frame, it's gotta do something. Worst case scenario, it just keeps on going sideways, like this and this, and then by then it's just I don't know what it's doing. But anyways, another thing we can look at, of course, is this, of course, right? You all know about this. I've told you about it. So let's see what it's doing. So actually, it's still slowly downtrending. Okay, if you can see that. Let's see what the other ones are doing. This is Bitstamp. It's stabilizing. So now Mt. Gox is downtrending, and Bitstamp is stabilizing. And let's see what Bitsy is doing. No, it's going down. So you're seeing some divergence here, and Bitstamp seems to be diverging, but it's also, I think, the one that's forecasting, because it tends to move. Like if you see my episode, this was moving before all the other ones. Another thing we can do is, if it gets kind of confusing, we can pull back on the time, and instead of a 15-minute, let's do an hourly on 5 days. So that helps as well. So if you see here, this is the down, and you see that these crossed over here on an hourly, and interestingly enough, you see a slight crossover again on the up, but it's really weak, really weak. Matter of fact, the price right now is almost here, almost at there. So that's Mt. Gox. So let's take a look at some of the other ones. Okay, and there's Bitstamp. So it's kind of been a very long, slow downtrend. It's actually moved up, but again, it's very weak. I guess I can do lines. You could try doing some lines on Bitstamp on that chart, but from what I could tell, it seems like there's a line going through here, and it may be slightly breaking out of that downtrend. So, and then one more last time, we'll go on the Bitsy, and we'll do 5 days at 1 hour. That's what we're gonna get. So now Bitsy is showing a long-term downtrend. So we're getting some mixed pictures here, but you kind of have to consider if Bitsy is the largest in volume now, because if you look at this, and now we're getting some red here, so it's getting kind of bloody. Okay, there we go. So now if you remember seeing this, this is new. This is red now, which indicates that the price has gone below the 30-day average. So that's why it turns red. A lot of these are almost at their 30-day average. So wouldn't be surprising if it dropped down below that, because you're seeing 2 up here. So Bitsy Euro, and then whatever this is, I don't even know what currency that is. But the fact that you're looking at all these markets as a whole. Now, last time I didn't remember seeing this many red, but if I scroll down, you're going to see more red. Now, these are smaller markets, but again, when you start seeing more red, all it means is just going below 30-day average. It doesn't mean they're free falling. Okay, but if you're long, if you're going long on Bitcoin, that's good, because you could buy more with your dollar. If you haven't already cashed out, you know, or have some cash in your trading account, maybe put a little bit out just to hedge your bets, right? Just a little bit. Now you don't have to do a whole lot, but unless you want to. But you know, there might be some good buying opportunities when the price goes down. So just heads up. So, all right. So that's pretty much it. And you know, I'm mainly looking at Mt. Gox because that's where I trade at. I've told you why I trade over there. The higher price. It seems like a larger move. You know, I don't see these unusual spikes like I did on Bitsy. So, anyways, this concludes this episode. I'm sorry if it's so long. I try to cover a lot of subjects here, and again, let me see here. Is it this one? No, it's this one. Yeah. Again, feel free to try this out. If you send enough, I'll just what I'll do is don't send a lot. Just play around with it. Just send a few pennies or whatever, 10 cents worth. I just want to show you, you know, how it. Try to track it down. Try to follow it, because it gets to a point where it's like, well, I don't know where it is anymore. Okay. Let me see here. Send. There might be a minimum amount I could send or receive, but we'll try it out anyway. Okay, whatever it is, or I'll just wait until it gets to a certain amount, and then I'll send it if I'm gonna get like micro satoshis or something like that. I'll try to send it to another address key where you'll see if you could try to just follow it. You know, see where it goes. You might just lose it within the first two moves of the Bitcoin. So again, I'll try to put a picture up here at in the episode series here so if any of you have any smartphones. So thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, even video response. Until next time, stay tuned.